All right, welcome guys to our night 2 review of WrestleMania 36. Hope everyone watching is doing well right now and staying indoors safe and sound. I'm the ABA. Joining me as always is Richard.
What's up, people?
Ricardo.
What's up, guys?
And King Kenny right below me. So he's finally here. Kenny, I think you're on mute there. I don't think they're able to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have it on mute to eliminate any background noises over here. But yeah, I'm ready to do this. Let's go.
All right, great. All that we ask before we get into the review here is please make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any content that you can only hear on this platform, such as this will only be exclusive to our YouTube channel over here. Will not be released anywhere else. So, and Tara will not be joining us. She's unable to. It'll just be the four of us going at it. So let's just get into it. WrestleMania is officially in the record books this year as Night 2 concluded last night. A longer show than Night 1 by like a half hour or so. And if I had to pick a better night that I enjoyed more, in my personal opinion, I enjoyed Night 1 a whole lot more. I just felt like there was more enjoyability with Night 1, but that's just my honest opinion. There were some things to like on Night 2 though. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but we're just going to get into it with Charlotte against Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. So this started off the main card in Night 2, and you know, I got to mention this here.
You're
going to say something?
Yeah. No. I was going to say that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair for the championship was easily the match of the night for Night 2, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great match between the two. Rhea held her own against Charlotte. The end result was that Charlotte won the NXT Women's Championship for a second time. Now, since that happened, she's going back down to NXT. But at the end of the day, there's no loser in this situation because Rhea really put on, if not her best match, her entire career since she's been in the WWE.
Right. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd agree with that sentiment too. This was pretty physical with these two throughout. Charlotte with those chops that she's well known for. Rhea with her power game. Even manages to hit the Riptide early on, only gets a near fall there. They fight a little outside. Rhea hits this cannonball on Charlotte from the apron. Charlotte hits a somewhat sloppy spear on Ripley for a near fall, I should say. Charlotte targeted the leg of Rhea throughout the match, so psychology was pretty prominent here. It took a while for Charlotte to really lock in the figure eight in the end, but she did, and it was the end for Rhea Ripley as she submitted, and Charlotte Flair wins the NXT Women's Championship for the second time in her career. Adding to her illustrious...
Go things. Go things.
Amen.
Go things.
Amen to
go
that,
people,
man.
Go
Amen
things.
to
Yes.
that. Yep.
Yes, I agree. Overall, I really did enjoy this match. As Richard said, it was his match of the night for Night 2. These two were physical with their strikes and power moves. Rhea loses nothing here, in my opinion. She looked good here against a big name like Charlotte, and she got plenty of exposure wrestling on a grand stage such as WrestleMania, despite no crowd. Now we can look forward to Charlotte Flair and what she has to offer in NXT, going at it with the Candice LeRae's and Io Shirai's of the world there.
I want to say something about Charlotte Flair. I want to say this in case everyone missed this. Well, except me and Kenny, because we know how our girl Charlotte is. But just in case, I told this to Richard, and he didn't truly understand this when I said this. If you guys rewatch that match, right, from a wrestling standpoint, Charlotte was teaching Rhea Ripley how to wrestle in a main event match better than anybody else. The master had to taught the student how to wrestle while the student was champion. All right? Look, in the first few seconds of that match, when they locked up twice, you saw Charlotte Flair put up a clinic on how to lock up, how to put down submission moves, how to score and hit effectively, how to conduct yourself in a match. It was a straight up clinic. As I will tell Richard, since he didn't understand what I meant, rewatch that match. Anybody else who did not understand, it's like this. The teacher had to taught the student how to get shit done, especially in NXT. And that's what went down yesterday. As our girl, Charlotte the Goat Flair, taught her the business.
See, that's why.
Match.
That's why I fucks with you, man, because you know exactly, like, that's exactly what I was about to say. In this case, you know, a couple of months ago, you know, where we were all, you know, sitting down and discussing this whole thing, and there was this notion that somehow Ripley was gonna get affected by this in a next light. That notion, because we knew exactly what the GOAT brought to the table. So, you know, in this case, man, like you said, man, she put on a clinic, man. I believe that she carried that match. Yeah. I believe that every moment in that match couldn't really have happened without the presence of the GOAT.
That's right.
And that's why it was the best match of the night, because, you know, we ain't just talking about a regular 2-bit player here. We're talking about one of the greatest athletes we have ever seen. Period. Male or female. So with that being said, man, I think this was the right outcome. I think it gives, you know, NXT a really, 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 you know, new sense of direction. And I can't wait to see what the GOAT brings to that division, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
To add to that also, since WrestleMania is now in the books, we have a new champion, and this coming Wednesday, we're going to get a new challenger, because this Wednesday,
that's right,
coming up in NXT, the 6-person ladder match. It's Io. If no one was watching NXT, it's Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, and Chelsea Green. My person to win the match is Io Shirai, hands down. Because with Io Shirai in this match, and with Charlotte, the new champion, that's already a money match for the women's division down there, right off the bat. So that's my pick to win. I could say that for everyone else here, Io's the best person to win the match.
I would agree with that. No question. I mean, imagine Charlotte against Io Shirai. Like, it would legit be one of the best wrestling matches, male or female, of the year.
But my thing is this, though, and I agree with your sentiment. Isn't it maybe a little too early? Because think about it. If Io just, you know, goes out and, because she's gonna lose. Okay, the GOAT is about to school every female on the NXT roster. She's about to school them, pretty much. So she's gonna run through everybody, right? And at last, we need her to hit that spot where she gets into, you know, so much as a roadblock, and then, you know, ends up losing. But to who? I think that could potentially be Io in that case. So I wouldn't necessarily go about putting her in that match this early on, because I kind of need the GOAT to, you know, have a little bit of a warm up before she starts challenging these big time players.
I was thinking
on the rock.
So would you say like Nox or Candice?
Yeah.
If Io did not win.
Exactly. So
I would think something like that too.
Some like Tegan Nox, not even Tegan Nox. What about this fiery chick? What's her name? Dakota Kai.
I would start with
like
her.
I would put her in that spot. I would put her in that spot, because I believe that, you know, she's on a roll right now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hot, even though she needs somebody to get involved in the match. I would put her in that match, man. She's not gonna win, obviously, but, you know, it'll give her, you know, some more notoriety, and I believe she needs that spot right now.
I also want to add about I just love this woman, Charlotte Flair. Like, fellas, she's the best athlete and wrestler in NXT. She's number one. I'm talking about men and women, right? Because not too long ago, we had a conversation about how NXT needs a new face entirely for the brand, right? Charlotte Flair could even teach the guys a thing or two based on productivity and holding it down as a wrestler. For the females, especially for the females, like, she's the principal, and all the females are her students.
Don't you mean?
Right?
Oh, no, continue.
They're the students, no question. You gotta talk to the principal before you want to get to the mountaintop. Okay? And I agree with Kenny about Dakota Kai being the first challenger. No question. You need that. You know, you need that in terms of making Charlotte comfortable and getting her back into the situation of NXT. You need that. I would say, arguably, SummerSlam, or if not, hell, she's the one person, Charlotte's the one person right now, I want her to hold the title for the whole year because they need it. She deserves it. I told Richard the other day, until I see one female that shows me that could amaze the fuck out of me, Charlotte Flair is the one person to hold it down until next year's WrestleMania. For God's sakes.
Remember what we said, right? Remember, this is very important, and I believe that the reason why we said this is because of what's happening right now. When we said a couple of years, well, not years, but obviously months ago, a couple of months ago, when we said, listen, we need Charlotte Flair to be dominant in NXT, because right now it's very important, because it's the change of the guard, man. It's a change of the guard. We need to find a new contender, a new, female that can actually say, you know what, I'm
That's
next. Right. It's my turn. Yeah, from Bianca, we haven't really gotten that. I mean, we've seen that from Shayna Baszler, but with what's going on right now, we don't even know what's going to be coming of that. So we don't know. But right now, we need somebody to step the fuck up and be like, yo, this is I'm next. And we need that fast, because right now, a 10-time champion, man. 11 now. They
said 12, bro.
No, they said 12 because they're counting the other reign that Charlotte had. Remember, she's a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. Right.
So,
so it's 12.
What, the Divas Championship?
No, the NXT Women's Championship. This is her second reign.
Yeah.
So okay. They count 4 times she won SmackDown Women's title, 5 times of Raw, that's 9. The Divas title, that makes 10, plus the 2 on NXT, that makes 12.
So like right now it's very important to to not only build someone up, but to build someone pretty rather quickly, maybe in about 2 to 3 years, because there's only so much of what a 12-time champion can do. At this point, true. she can retire and she'll be in the Hall of Fame the next fucking day. So we need someone to have that rivalry. Who is The Rock to Charlotte Stone Cold? Like, who is that?
Amen. That's the perfect analogy.
Like, we need that shit.
Interesting analogy there. But as you guys can see, the people watching this, there's no shortage of possibilities and countless options for WWE to go about Charlotte Flair on NXT as the champion and as the top dog there for the women's division. Possibilities are endless. We'll see what they do. We'll see how they go about with this and who they put over in the end. And who gets the rub, of course, along the way. Up next, we go from a match we wanted to see, all hyped with anticipation, to a match nobody gave a single fuck about. Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley. Why? Why did this match need to happen at WrestleMania and take up precious time? Bobby Lashley hasn't done anything to warrant a consideration to be a part of the WrestleMania card. This is exactly the kind of match I expected Aleister to have with Lashley. Fine, nothing spectacular. You know? It's a waste of Black's talents, honestly. If you were not going to have anything meaningful planned for Aleister on the show, why even book the man? I know Kenny was saying that same thing as we were watching last night. Black won with the Black Mass after Lashley attempted to go for the spear. Don't know what is next for Aleister Black. You know, I hope it's something meaningful. According to how they booked him here, it doesn't look like it, but we'll see. Any other thoughts on this match, or we move on?
Yeah. This match was mostly a match that like fit in the what's it called, the pre-show, that needed to be in the pre-show. But other than that, I got really nothing more to add to that. Like, it's a one and done, so
True.
It is what it is.
I don't care.
Fair enough. Moving on, we had Otis against Dolph Ziggler. This all came to a head after the twist they introduced to the storyline on the Go Home edition of SmackDown last Friday, where it was revealed that Sonya Deville played a role in preventing Mandy Rose to be with Otis, as she played with her text messages towards Otis back on Valentine's Day when they were supposed to have their little date. And she had Dolph Ziggler sabotage the whole thing by going after Mandy and pursuing her. So here, Ziggler came out with Sonya, and Tucker accompanied Otis. Ziggler was in control for most of the early goings. Otis turned things around with a catapult into the second turnbuckle. As Otis was going for his signature caterpillar move, which always looks impressive, Deville gets to the apron and distracts the ref for Dolph to kick Otis in the nuts. But before anything else, out walks Mandy Rose, smacks Sonya and beats on her for a bit, comes into the ring and low blows Dolph, to which Otis successfully hits the caterpillar for the win. Otis wins and gets the girl in the end, as he and Mandy planted a big one to end this segment. You know, it's exactly what the ending should have been. It's called for it. WWE did right with the storyline in execution. It's just a huge shame this didn't play out to an audience.
I would say the only thing I will say about this match is that this was one of the matches in the entire both nights that actually needed fans. If you needed fans, then the end result would have been much more special. But it is
let's just say a lot of things on night 2 of the show in particular needed an audience for. But we'll get to that.
Yep.
No one has anything else to say. We move on to Edge against Randy Orton, last man standing match.
Boy.
Go on. I think Abba, go ahead and just give us a rundown of everything that happened, and then we'll present our thoughts after.
We'll do. We all knew the story going into this match. We've been discussing this as probably the main focal point of our show since the Royal Rumble event back in January, where Edge, after 9 long years retired from pro wrestling, made his return. This is something out of everything else WWE had to offer us on this show we legitimately wanted to see unfold. So let's talk about it as best we can. So Edge makes his entrance, and we're waiting for Orton to come out. His music was playing, but no Viper in sight. After a while, Randy appears in view, hitting an RKO from behind, which was a great spot. Great way to start things off. They showed us the replay that he was disguised as a cameraman at ringside, hence the different gear he had on as we saw from our side. Bell rings, Orton hits another RKO to Edge, who could barely stand up at that point. They're on the outside. Randy takes a big camera and hits Edge in the head with it, sending him over the barricade. They take it to the back, and they pretty much proceed to brawl all over the performance center, in the hallway, the conference room, the gym, back into ringside, just striking each other throughout and sending each other into the environment they had around them. At one point, Edge fell into a cameraman who was following all the action, and he collapsed, and that was our view for a little bit. That was pretty funny. Action spilled into the storage room. Right? Yeah. Action spilled into the storage room at the PC, where Edge hit a big elbow drop from the top of a platform onto Orton, who was laid out on a table, but he got up from that before the count of 10. They make their way on top of a truck they had there. Randy took Edge down there, was going for the punt kick, which we haven't seen in ages, really. But Edge hit him with a spear, and Orton managed to get up from that. Edge made a run for Orton, but Randy caught him this time with an RKO. Keep in mind, this is all still on top of that truck. Edge barely got up from that before the count of 10. At this point, Orton grabs the chair and batters Edge with it, but Edge locks in this head and shoulder hold that he introduced recently to his arsenal. He did it to MVP, I believe, a few weeks back as he was assaulting him. It takes down Orton with that. There were 2 chairs laying around, so we knew what Edge was thinking with Orton down at this point. But along the way, he started to tear up as if he didn't want it to come down to this. He wanted to play the emotion card with the storyline at this point, which honestly, in my opinion, didn't really work here. If this was Edge and Christian feuding someone like that, I would get it because of the history between those two. But this isn't a big enough friendship that they've had for me to see Edge tear up about it and start to have regrets on. But thankfully, he hit the chair 2 onto Orton, and that was all he wrote as he stayed down for the count of 10. Edge wins. This was disappointing overall. Almost 40 minutes of these two having a relatively tame brawl all over the PC. Yes, there were a few nice, innovative spots, I guess, done onto one another, but they were so few and far between that it was hard to really notice and appreciate.
So I disagree with your initial statement when you said that this wasn't a big enough friendship for it to, warrant him crying at the end.
Okay.
So do I. I disagree.
It was. This was 9 years, and then before that, right? Before that, they went on for what? How long were they friends before everything happened? So no, I think it definitely warranted this guy, crying over it.
Yeah. Also, if it wouldn't be a close relationship if the guy knows the other man's kids. The guy knows his kids by name. It was a close relationship, no question. Right? Don't get me wrong. At first I was questioning. I'm like, yo, why the fuck is he crying? But then I understood, why? Because of close relationship. Because you could tell, obviously, that low key Edge didn't really want to fight. Excuse me. Edge didn't really want to fight Randy Orton in that capacity and towards the lengths it went up to. But it happened. But they had a close relationship. Hell, you could say it's a closer relationship than possibly Christian. Because Edge and I'm not comparing the two. I'm not comparing the two. Hear me out. Wait. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying.
I'll hear you out. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that it's almost as a closer relationship to Christian. I'm not comparing the two.
Okay.
That relationship, going back to what you said, I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. I think it's a closer relationship than Beth and Edge. I'll say that one. Because think about it.
No, it's true.
Think about it. Edge didn't go around with Beth since the beginning, man. But Randy and Edge, they've been like this since day one, bro.
This goes to what Kenny said. If you watch the documentary for Edge and WWE 24, which was fantastic, by the way. He mentioned about his relationship with Beth didn't start too long ago. It started the week after when Edge announced his retirement. It started right there. Edge and Orton goes back 2006. Yeah, 2006. So it goes that long. My opinion about the match, was it great? No. But this was another match that also desperately needed the fans. 100%.
This was a match that I feel really needed a cinematic feel to it, if that makes sense. A la Taker at AJ at night 1. I really feel like it could have complemented and suited the match a lot better. And it would have told a more compelling story than them just brawling around all over the PC,
Mm-hmm. In terms of last man standing standards, yes, they're both coming of age, but by all the best last man standing matches that we've seen, it wasn't the best due to one definitely the longevity of the entire match.
Right.
Usually the last man standing is 15, 20 minutes. This one doubled for no reason. So it's and I know that there was some points, and I even told this to Ricardo, can this match finish already? Because this match went way too long.
Almost 40 minutes, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Can this match finish?
Yeah.
Like, even Chris Jericho said on Twitter, I'm like, yo, can this match finish like already because it's going on for way too long.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, the right person won, which was Edge. Was it the best match? No. Could have been better? Absolutely. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. The thing is, we say that way too often when it comes to this company. Especially for something that we legit we were talking about, like, as I said earlier, as a main focal point of one of our shows since the Rumble. Something we've been planning out and just mapping out, like, what we could see them doing over the coming months heading into this WrestleMania. So the fact that we just simply we're disappointed, we simply end with it is what it is. That blows.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I know a lot of people actually did enjoy this match. If you enjoyed this match throughout, for those of you listening, then more power to you. You probably had little expectation going into this match, unlike all of us. So,
listen, I didn't expect Gargano and Ciampa level street
I didn't
fight
either.
because
I didn't either.
Come on,
No one did.
let's face it. They both spoiled us crazy, like rotten.
That could also be
street fight.
attributed,
So
yeah.
any street fight that we have is incomparable to it.
Right.
But in this case, I think exactly what happened. Like what should have happened. You know what I mean? Like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were expecting a lot, but given what I saw last night, it makes sense. It does. These two are not, exactly 25 anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these guys are almost in their 40s. Like Edge, I'm pretty sure he's in his 40s, right? Yeah. So
yeah, he's like 46.
He's
46.
right. He's closer to 50. He's
40 to
closer
50.
to 50 than he is 40. Right. Exactly. So honestly, man, I think exactly what happened, was exactly what needed to happen. So, we got a match that wasn't exactly great, but it didn't need to be great. It just needed to tell a story, I think. After sleeping on it, that's
All right. All right, well.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Moving on from that, we had the Street Profits against Angel Garza and Austin Theory for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Actually, it was solid throughout. I do enjoy watching these four in the ring, but we knew the outcome. Was the result ever really in doubt? Theory was filling in for Andrade, who couldn't compete here due to a rib injury suffered on Raw a few weeks back. The Street Profits retained as expected, although my interest was very few and far between for this particular match. Although I will note the effort there. Post-match, Garza and Theory laid out the Profits. Even Zelina Vega got a kick in on Montez when Bianca Belair rushed out to the ring and beat down on Vega and came to help save the Street Profits. She hits the KOD onto Zelina, and the Street Profits fought off Garza and Theory, who ran to the back. It looks like Bianca Belair finally got that call-up that she deserved and we were expecting at this point. And she looks to be affiliated with this team officially. She is married to Montez Ford in real life, after all. So if this accomplished anything, at least we had that.
I didn't care about the match, to be quite honest with you. It's what happened after.
Yeah.
Is what you said. What was really cared about, since she's now called up. If she's not first in line to face Becky, we got a problem. I am sorry. Because we need a new contender to face Becky. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Ricardo agreed with me in terms of Bianca Belair being the person to be first in line for the women's title since she beat Shayna. Right, Ricardo? Because we had this discussion this morning.
What the fuck has she done? What the fuck has she done to deserve a title shot?
You can say you can.
Go ahead, Richard.
I'm saying you're saying that what the fuck that she's done. I'll give you that, but you could say the same thing about Braun Strowman. What did he do?
That's different. No.
That's a different. Wait, that's a different scenario.
Braun has been there. Braun has been there.
That's different. You can't compare that.
All right,
It took
let's do
3
one at a
niggas
time,
to put him out. It took 3 guys to put him out, man. 3. What the hell has Braun done? Look at his resume. Look at it.
I disagree with you on Richard because that's completely different, right?
Yeah.
In terms of Bianca Belair, the only reason I said that I think she should be next is because that like there are times in WWE when a returning superstar or a new superstar comes into the picture that they automatically give the title shot to that person. But in this case, in terms of Bianca Belair, I think she needs to get her feet wet on Raw before she gets the title.
Exactly. As far as
to Becky Lynch.
I'm sorry,
and also, yeah, no problem. In terms of Becky Lynch, I would want her to face Shayna Baszler again. Because
there you go.
I said this the other day. I don't think she could beat Shayna Baszler. Because that roll-up pin, that was one of the most luckiest pins she's ever done. Right? But we're talking about like a straight-up match, toe-to-toe, where the other night in night 1 of WrestleMania, Shayna Baszler gave her the business. All right? So I would say that Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch needs to fight again. And this time Shayna Baszler will win. And then you could use Shayna Baszler as a staple to have a myriad of matches with other females in the Raw roster.
I will say this. Just to add to their points here, if Richard's listening. The thing is, as far as I'm concerned, Bianca Belair, her resume and her list of accomplishments pretty much is wiped out, and she's starting from scratch, starting from last night.
Exactly.
That's how it always has been. That's how it has been with a lot of the talents coming up from NXT to the main roster who really haven't accomplished a whole lot in terms of championship wins and significant wins. Bianca Belair is a prime example of this. I feel like she really has to prove something to not just herself, but to others around her, i.e. the fans like us, to justify her getting a title match.
There is something that I think people will argue about the fact that Shayna Baszler came onto the main roster and then she got a title shot initially, right off the bat. And here's the difference. Shayna Baszler was a champion. That matters, okay? You can't sit there and tell me, Bianca Belair deserves a fucking main roster title shot because Shayna Baszler got one. Mm-hmm. No, fuck that.
Yep.
Baszler was a champion. She was a staple in NXT. She was established, man. You know what? Like, these things matter. They matter, man. The reputation matters. Were you a champion, and how long did you do it for? Were you dominant? If you were dominant, then you should get a head start.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, too.
Have you?
But yeah, we'll see what they do with that. And speaking on the topic of Baszler and Becky, would it surprise you guys if they end up doing something like a submission match for their next, were they to continue the feud, as a way to counteract what they did with WrestleMania, Becky getting a fluke win?
I would agree to that.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely agree, man.
I was thinking that as you guys were talking
fantastic
about it.
idea, man. That was a fantastic idea.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's a way to really make things equal and on equal footing. Moving on, we had Bayley against Tamina Snuka, against Naomi, against Lacey Evans, against Sasha Banks in a 5-way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Tamina dominated for the first few minutes here before getting eliminated by everyone hitting their signature splashes and pinning her. That's all I'm going to say on that. Tamina is awful. So Bayley and Sasha worked on Naomi for a while. What happened?
She's a mom. Leave her alone.
No, not... Well, you know what I mean when I say awful. But Naomi fights back, eventually gets eliminated from the match by Bayley and Sasha's teamwork. Lacey managed to eliminate Sasha next after Bayley avoided a women's right, Lacey's finisher, and transitioned into Evans hitting the move on Banks instead. That was actually a nice spot there. Bayley just watched Sasha get eliminated. Didn't even try to help her out there, even though she absolutely could have. Now we're down to Bayley and Lacey Evans. Bayley tied Evans up into the turnbuckle and beat her down for a bit. Lacey with the comeback was going for something when Sasha, who stuck around at ringside, came into the ring and nailed Lacey with a backstabber from behind. That allowed Bayley to hit her headlock driver finisher on Evans, and she won the match and retained her title. My thoughts on this are that Lacey certainly showed some improvement in this match, especially towards the end. She had a good showing. And it looks like they haven't yet pulled the trigger on Bayley and Sasha. They're holding off on this. Nothing new. We've been seeing this ongoing for a good 3 years now. It seems like they're never really going to move ahead with Bayley and Sasha on the main roster.
Because it's been played out for so long.
It's been played out because of the constant times they've been tensioning it. They've been showing teases of tension between the two. Will it ever reach its climax? No. Not on the main roster, at least.
They're going to face each other again. They're going to face each other again regardless. What y'all have to understand is that when you have two people that are either together or in a rivalry per se, right? If you know something that clicks, right, you can't help but gravitate towards those two people to make things work. As of right now, yeah. Unfortunately, Bayley and Sasha Banks are the only two females that clicks best with each other, right? By default in the SmackDown roster, right? No one can carry the mic like Sasha Banks or Bayley. No one can have the same, nobody has the same, how can I say this? They don't complement each other well as much as Sasha. Thank you. Charisma. They don't mix together as well as Sasha and Bayley. I'm like, it's by default. And
in the chemistry in the ring, too, man. That like when I was watching the match, honestly, man, I then started to I thought a lot, man. I thought a lot about what the hell it is that both of them accomplished. In this case, Sasha and Bayley, and it was pretty good, man. And then I started to think, and this has nothing to do with the show, but this division is so much better than AEW, man. Like, it's just leagues. Well, AEW's women's division. Like, it's just leagues above it. Like, it's not even comparable, And that's all I'll say about that.
That's a somewhat low bar, though, if we're comparing AEW's women's division.
I know, but still, man, like, it's just so much better. Like,
yeah, like,
I agree with that. I'll give you that. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I need y'all to stop complaining about Bayley and Sasha Banks. Get over it. You two got to get over that. Until you two or WWE gives me two females that can mix well with each other, besides those two on SmackDown, you get what you get.
No,
whatever, man. My only problem is it's played out at this point, beyond played out.
It's just beyond played out. That's all we said.
It's played out, but you got other two females that you got?
Obviously
not
because
division, no.
Because SmackDown's
women
is extremely weak.
I'm just saying, pull the trigger, just give us the goddamn feud. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
No, you're definitely right. Give us the goddamn feud. I mean,
just give us the
feud, man, already. Yeah.
Yeah, we keep saying, no, they're telling a story. Oh, look, they teased it last night. We're going to get it at SummerSlam. We've been saying it for the past 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
But did we ever get it? No.
No.
That's how I'm looking at it. Why is this gonna be any different? Probably not. Okay, let's get on to something that actually does matter and is worth our time. John Cena against The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Firefly Funhouse match.
Oh man.
Oh my God. How are we going to
just
talk
go through
about
it.
this?
Just go through it. Yeah.
I'm going to do my best, guys.
Do your best.
From an entertainment standpoint, it was a 10 out of 10. Because it was a 10 out of 10 from
Rich. No disrespect, but you gotta let Abba run through it and then give me thoughts.
By all means.
All right, please. Let's go, Abba.
I'm the rundown guy for a reason, so just give me a second. Let me chew my food. Okay, so we're gonna try. We're gonna try our best, our absolute best.
Oh man.
To run down what happened in this match as best we could. I'm the fall guy, so bear with me here. John Cena came out, and he was great here at first, where he looked around, trying to find fans to take in the adulation and the atmosphere. There was no energy there because of the empty venue situation, so Cena was unsure of what to do and how to react. That was great. He started to say to us, the viewers at home, welcome to WrestleMania, but halfway through, he was interrupted by Bray Wyatt, who was at the Funhouse. He said some stuff to begin things, and we saw Cena appear at the Funhouse after Wyatt exited. Cena looked around and saw Rambling Rabbit, one of the characters of the Funhouse, and he exited. We then see Cena in a dark area, and Mr. McBossman appears, a blatant ripoff of the Mr. McMahon character, as obvious can be. He appears, calls out Cena to get some ruthless aggression, which pretty much segue nicely of the next segment. We get a shot of Bray in the ring, calling out anyone in the back to face him, and we get John Cena decked out in his debut attire back in 2002, this generically bad gear that he had on at the time. It came back in 2020. He walked in the ring, and they proceeded to reenact Cena's debut in WWE, with Wyatt playing the role of Kurt Angle, obviously. But this time, as Cena was going for the smack on Wyatt after shouting ruthless aggression, the way he did back then, Wyatt ducked and kept mocking him after every attempt and every miss. And at one point, even, Wyatt was singing, "You can look, but you can't touch," towards Cena. Funny-ass reference to his ex, Nikki Bella, over there. That was just masterful right there.
I'm sorry to cut you off. That was gold.
Yeah, it was.
Keep going.
Oh man, yeah, that was amazing.
Good.
I did not see that coming.
Nope.
I did not see that. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
He got out perfectly.
All right, keep going, bro. Keep going, man.
All right. We then get a shot of Macho Mercy and Mr. McBossman again doing the announcing, followed by the introduction package to Saturday night's main event, the premiere programming for the WWF back in the 80s before Monday Night Raw was around. We jump to Bray Wyatt being a hype man for Johnny Large Me, a.k.a. Cena, who appears with dumbbells and does constant and quick repetitions with them. He eventually gives out and fails to swing at Bray as his arms were extremely tired out from all those reps. Wyatt throws Cena out of shot, and he reappears as Doctor of Thugonomics from 2003, and they both come back to the ring that was seen earlier on, with Cena with some honestly some tame rhyme schemes, nothing crazy there. Wasn't really all that impressed. After this, Bray calls out John for being the Golden Goose, and was handed everything to him, how he has been a horrible person with it, etc. Cena says another rhyme with these nuts, literally holds up a bag of nuts and throws it at Bray. Then makes a beeline for Bray, but he teleports behind him. But then he wraps up the chain around his fist. He got a hold of that and clocks Cena with it and takes him down. We then see the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. The one, the loser Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Pins, Bray Wyatt, back at the Wyatt compound, which was a nice surprise. He was calling back to WrestleMania 36 years ago in their first match there in 2014. And Wyatt called his loss there his grandest failure, which, isn't far from the truth. I don't see no lies detected there when he said that. We see them both back in the ring in their gear from that match in 2014, and they reenact that spot in the end of the match where Bray hands Cena a chair and tells him to fix the mistake of not using the chair on Bray back then. Cena blotched, but Wyatt teleports again. We then move on to WCW in the late 90s. A lot of callbacks here. And Bray's in the ring wearing an NWO shirt and reenacts the role of Eric Bischoff. And Cena comes out decked in NWO gear, goes the whole 9 yards with it, including the spray-painted World Heavyweight title, the big gold belt, how I missed that. He comes in the ring, and Cena finally takes Wyatt down and rains some punches down on him, but Wyatt disappeared again. As Cena realizes this, he comes to his feet. The Fiend reappears from behind John, and he locks in the mandible claw on John Cena and passes him out. Transitions into his sister Abigail, nails that, and continues to lock in the claw on Cena. And Bray Wyatt reappears playing the role of referee, counting Cena's shoulders, and the Fiend wins the match. We then get a cut back to the PC where we see Titus O'Neil over there, flabbergasted by what he just saw. Yeah, his facial expression at the end of this was all of us as well. So good job there, Titus Catering. And that was it. How'd I do, guys?
Well, before everybody says something, Abba, I'll give you credit for remembering all that shit.
I didn't remember.
So
Hell yeah.
More power to you. Now,
I need a cigarette after this. Go ahead.
Shame on you, no cigarettes, okay? But okay. But that was one of the most entertaining segments I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. It was extremely entertaining, and what it focused on was a recap of Cena's career and Bray Wyatt's career.
Till now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Till now. Right? Yeah, exactly. There were a few segments which I didn't understand because, like, the Monday Night War segment, like on WCW and Nitro, and I said that the WCW gimmick, the Saturday Night Live gimmick, I didn't understand that. I'm like, what is that for? I'm like, what's the point of that specifically towards Cena and and Bray Wyatt? Y'all niggas were fucking. I'm like, y'all niggas were fucking babies when that shit happened. I'm like, what does that have to do with y'all?
No, but I was kind of looking at it differently. I kind of looked at it in the aspect of Cena always being portrayed as a modern day Hulk Hogan. And as you guys know, Hogan was well and prominent in the 80s and early 90s in the WWF. Saturday Night's Main Event was on at the time. And like I said, it kind of goes back to that whole thing, the whole comparison with Cena and Hogan. And Cena playing the role of a Hulk Hogan.
But the thing, you may say that, but like Bray Wyatt and John Cena has nothing to do with that.
No. I think in this case, with them trying to portray Cena as the modern day Hulk Hogan is accurate. Yeah. It's as accurate as it's gonna get. So they hit it right on the head with that, man.
But and shout out to Bray Wyatt about that Nikki Bella shit. That shit was beautiful. But like, it wasn't really a match at all.
Yeah, that's where people are going to be. That's why I feel people are going to be conflicted with when this match was said and done. Looking back on it now, and the fact that this wasn't really a match.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say something later on, a little later, about why we have squash matches and shit like this today in WWE. I'll say that a little bit later, but relating to this match, the entertainment was there. The wrestling wasn't, by far. It was not. And it almost like, think about it like this. It was almost like a movie aspect in terms for John Cena, into fitting into his movie career, which is like almost being propelled to greater heights and shit. So it was almost like Vince was helping John Cena to assist Cena in terms of his acting career more than being an actual match.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I never really rated or looked at this match. I mean, this whole segment as a match. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really rate it off that front. I just asked myself, was I entertained? Hell yeah. I know you guys were. So that's by that aspect alone, it was a resounding success. And it was the best thing, in my opinion, of night 2.
Yeah. I don't know about that though. From an entertainment,
from
an entertainment standpoint, I'll give it to you because
but match wise, I mean,
No.
it wasn't really a match to review.
No, of course,
Yeah, so
of course.
but
I just meant
as
like
far
from,
is it the best thing you've seen? Is it the best thing you've seen in night 2? I would tend to agree with that. Honestly,
that's
I
what
would
I
tend
meant.
to agree with that.
Not necessarily
yeah.
best match. This wasn't a match. I looked at it from an entertainment standpoint. Was I entertained throughout? Yes, I was, and then some. The best thing and the best
This
match
was a
are two. Don't have to be the same thing.
Not a match. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we pretty much finished there, right? We
continue.
gave our thoughts on everything. Yeah.
But no. Before you get to the next segment, this is low key sad because we're talking about a John Cena match that was supposed to be a match, and we have nothing to say about this match because it's John Cena. You feel me? And that's extremely upsetting.
Yeah.
Yep. It's Big Match John.
Big Match John at WrestleMania, and we can't say jack shit.
And you know what? That's the second year in a row, man. He didn't even have. Actually, no, that was the third time in a row. Third year in a row.
Third year.
Definitely. Last year he just had a segment with the
Taker. That honestly, that wasn't a real match. You know what I mean? Like 2-second, squash like that. I don't count that. At least.
And like we was there, that's expecting a match like him doing his doing moves and shit. I'm like, because like we're expecting to see the same shit, like as almost as similar to the Buried Alive match from night 1 in WrestleMania between Taker and Styles. But then we look at this match, we're like, what the fuck is this? We're like, and then got us all second guessing and shit about what's gonna happen next, this and this, and it was not really a match, and that's what's disappointing about everything.
Yeah, definitely, man. I when the hell are we gonna actually see that man in an actual match, man? Like seriously.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't think. To be honest with you, like I'm gonna make my point a little later when we get to the Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre match about why I think we're not gonna see these matches similar to like this. I hope you guys agree with me based on my point. So I'm gonna say it a little later.
All right, cool. Well, you mentioned the match after this, so we might as well get into it. Drew McIntyre against Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. This was the main event of the show and the match that capped things off with WrestleMania this year. So I'm gonna do my best, just like with the previous match, to run down as best I could. Let me just start. They made their entrances. Announcements for both occurred. Bell rang to start things off. Lesnar with the shoulder checks in the corner to Drew. He reverses into the first Claymore kick to a near fall. Lesnar sidestepped Drew McIntyre, who was going for another Claymore, hits a German suplex on him, followed by another one. Hits the F5 for a kick out at 1. Hits another F5 for another kick out. Hits a third F5 for another near fall after that. Lesnar attempts a fourth F5 after that, but Drew fights back and hits a second Claymore, followed by a third Claymore. He then hits the fourth Claymore back kick to Brock.
3 moves, man.
And
3 moves.
him.
Just 3 moves in this match.
Is your new WWE champion in the main event of WrestleMania.
Oh, man. 3 moves. Just 3.
Yeah, it was only 3. Like,
Night 1 was
well, whatever. This is how you will see WWE title matches will go. I won't say from now on, but depending on the part-time superstar that holds it. It was like a quick, fast, and in a hurry type of match. Almost as similar to Goldberg and Braun Strowman. It was almost just as similar to the pace of match that was going on. And like we already knew the end result about Drew McIntyre winning the belt.
If there was one great thing I were to say about this match, it was the fact that at least they put the title on McIntyre. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for the guy. This guy worked hard. He made it to the big leagues. He main evented a WrestleMania, beat Brock Lesnar. I'm happy for him.
Okay. This is what I wanted to say about stars who are part-timers being in squash, type of matches and stuff like that. Whether it's now John Cena, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Edge, and even Taker, right? The reason why they're doing these squash type of matches is because due to their age and their lack of ability to perform. They weren't what they were 5 years ago, or in references to Taker and Goldberg, what they were 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Me and Kenny watch sports like pretty much our whole fucking lives, right? Father Time is undefeated, right? The only exception that we would all accept is The Undertaker, because he's the only person that is smart enough to wrestle once a year in terms of only in WrestleMania and not be able to wrestle for any other pay-per-view that the WWE has.
Let me stop you right there,
right?
Ricardo. Let me stop you right there, dude. That's great and all. That being said, you can't blame people for being sick and tired of seeing The Undertaker, regardless of it being once a year.
I never said that. I never said that. That's why you need to finish.
Just a disclaimer.
I never said that. I never said that. Anyway, Taker is the only exception because he's the only one that wrestles once a year, and he is smart of that. But in terms of a Goldberg, a Brock Lesnar, a John Cena, now an Edge, who are high in age, who only wrestles for a few times a year, aren't able to do what they used to do because of Father Time, right? Triple H stopped the last full match that Triple H had was last year against Batista, and he admitted after that match that he is done wrestling against the guys in the main roster because now he knows his time is done in wrestling with the main roster.
Now, right now, it's NXT. That's what he said from this point.
That's right. Now, let me ask when was the last time, I'm asking everyone this question, when was the last time you saw John Cena in a full-length match?
We're talking matches, period? Like any situation?
I think that wasn't that against Triple H at a real actual match, like a full length match, not a squash match, like a real match. I think it was against Triple H at freaking Super Showdown in Jeddah
in 2018. Yeah, right after the squash with Undertaker.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So check this out. 2018. That was 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. All right. Now, Goldberg. When was the last time you saw him in a full length match?
15 years ago? Shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
15 years ago. Right. Now, Edge.
He just had one.
No, not counting this one. Not counting
well, obviously, whoa. Edge.
What about
Edge, we shouldn't really touch that because he retired.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're not
right,
yet.
Fine.
You have no choice but to retire.
All right, fine. But John Cena's last full match 2 years ago, you already know about Taker, right? And Goldberg 15 years ago, right? The duration of time that these guys has not produced in a full-length match takes its toll on the person that used to wrestle. John Cena right now, despite he's brolic and shit, he's the muscle man, all that shit, that don't mean being muscular fit is one thing, but being athletically fit is another. You need to be athletic in the WWE ring. John Cena
Whoa.
Time out.
Hold on. Is John Cena the same John Cena as yesteryear?
No one is the same as the years before. Okay? No one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Because just because we haven't seen him, in a lengthy match doesn't mean he's not capable of that. Okay? He has other obligations, man. He's a Hollywood superstar now, man.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I understand he's a Hollywood superstar. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that he's not capable. I know he's capable. I'm saying today, you will not see a full-length match with these guys.
Right, but you need to mention why. You won't see a full.
You don't have
I told you why.
It's not. Hold up.
Exactly. Like they can easily build up like ring rust.
Hold on, Abba. It's not. Let's not act like the reason why we haven't seen Cena in a full-fledged match is because of his age, because he can't go athletically anymore. That's false.
That is false.
Stop saying that. That's false, man. The reason why is because he's doing movies.
And another thing, let's be real for 1 second. If his match with Bray Wyatt was not a fun house match, they could have went on for like 15 to 20 minutes.
Right.
Period.
Right. Like, what gave you the impression that he can't go athletically anymore, man? Just because he's not doing it?
No, because
he clearly has. Listen, that squash match he had to the Undertaker needed to happen. You know why? Because at that point, right, he was actually a few weeks later, he was actually going to film. I think what was it? Fast and Furious. I think Fast 9 or F9 or whatever the hell they're calling it. Like this guy has been in like what 3 movies the past year, man. Dude, the proof is right there.
I know that, and I'm only saying because that like he might be a rust in the ring.
He's not.
Career. How do you know that?
Dude, he did not suddenly get infinitely worse in the ring and lose all of his wrestling abilities.
Because of his
fact that the last time he wrestled a full-length match was 2018, which was 2 years ago. You're relying on that part, but you have to give us an exact reason why, as you think, he cannot continue right now. Yesterday, if he faced Bray Wyatt on a straight-up one-on-one match, straight up, that could have been just possibly, the best match out of the entire show if it wasn't a funhouse match. Okay. Let's be real.
All right. All I'm saying is that the people that use that you see having squash matches, I'm only saying that people only have squash matches. You can't really expect a full-length match.
Obviously, but in terms of Cena, it's different circumstances. For Taker and Goldberg, they don't stay in shape like Cena does. If Cena does, he comes back, they ask him to do one match, he'll do a great match right away from the jump. So for you to say that is completely false.
Listen, there are only a few guys that look as good as they did today, right? 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
there you go.
And that's probably Edge, Cena, and maybe a couple of others.
Yeah.
Okay, there's only a handful of them. Okay, if you're telling me that he lost, there's no reason to believe he's lost his athletic ability. Mm-hmm. Now, the only reason we all know he's doing these types of matches is because of Hollywood, man. Yeah, it's because he has like an $8 million payday, and they just need his face for WrestleMania. Not even his athleticism.
So
they don't need that shit.
As evidenced last night.
Is his face.
So my thing is, if you say for his movie career for John Cena to be in the movie industry and such, why is he continuing being WWE?
Because they need his face.
Exactly. They need him more than he needs them by a long shot.
Right. Like, dude, humor me for a minute here. Okay, and answer this for me, okay? Because you seem to think that this has a little bit to do, about health than anything else.
Health matters.
No, it does. But humor me for a minute. If he wasn't there last night, let's say it was Randy Orton against the Fiend, right? If Cena wasn't there, let's say Cena missed this WrestleMania, right? Would it have mattered as much as it did?
No.
Right. And why is that? Because it's someone that we're not accustomed to seeing, right? It's someone that doesn't wrestle like that anymore. It's someone that has fought his way out of the company only to return again, right? People love seeing that shit. Now, it wouldn't have been as important, right? But it's because it's Cena, right? Everyone gives it this kind of, credence and jumps to it and makes it more to be a bigger deal than maybe it currently is. right? Who in there matters. And I'm saying, right, the reason why it was that big to begin with is because a lot of people harking back to the feud they had like 6 years ago, saying that, you know, Bray was never the same. He was never the same. Yeah, like people really actually said, even before that match happened, even before they even got into fisticuffs, even before they even acknowledged each other.
They were fearing for the worst.
This not being a regular match, this not being a regular match, trust me, it has nothing to do with, oh yeah, Cena can't go again, because we all know this motherfucker's in the ring every day. I'm sorry, not in the ring every day, but he's in the gym every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so comparing it to a guy like Goldberg and The Undertaker, man, look, you're misinformed, man. Nah, not that guy. He ain't that old.
Let me just add on to what Kenny said. Can Cena wrestle the same way he did 5 years ago when he was killing it on Raw with the U.S. Open Challenge and having amazing matches with Cesaro, with Neville, with Zayn, with Owens, with all these different people? Probably not. Good chance that he is a step or two below, maybe even a couple more steps. But to say that Cena outright lost most of his wrestling ability, oh, that's what you were getting at?
Yes. I never said he can't go. Period.
No.
I said no.
If you said a step or two below, it would have been more understanding.
I said he can't be. No. I said that's what I said.
Not if you compare him to a guy like The Undertaker and Goldberg. I'm sorry. But there are levels. Hold up. Right, exactly. So there are levels to this shit then. Call it like you see it. There are levels to this shit. Okay? Edge and Cena are a lot more closer than to being like their normal selves than Goldberg and Taker. You gotta say that, man. You gotta say that. Because what you're saying to me is that they can't go anymore. Like they're literally sitting ducks like Taker and Goldberg, which they're not.
Because
there's no evidence to believe that, man. You have absolutely zero evidence to say that, you know, he can't really go anymore. When you're talking about Taker, when you see, this is my biggest point. When you put Taker and Goldberg in that conversation with Cena, you changed everything. And that's what I'm trying to get at.
The two, like currently right now, the best two part-timers in the WWE is Cena, and he proved it last night, Edge. The best two. Yeah. Edge was a young 46, but he's a young 46. Cena is still in his early 40s. Edge said, even in the documentary he's on the network, he was with Sheamus. He said he can still go. He did a few tests. He did everything that he could to still go, and that's what he proved last night. Cena can still go.
Yo, can I ask Ricardo something? I gotta ask you something, bro.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm sorry, Richard, but I gotta ask him this, okay? And this is my last question to you, man.
All right.
If you were a big Hollywood star, man, would you risk it all in the wrestling ring, man, for a $2 million payday when you can go to Hollywood and get a $6 million? Well, yeah, it's $6 more million just to do a fucking movie. Would you risk it all?
No.
Right, and that's essentially what I'm saying. That's why you see Cena doing what he's doing.
Exactly.
Not because of his age and attrition, but because of the circumstances, man. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, these two can still go to this very day. Like, we may see Edge in 1 or 2 more matches later on this year. It could be against, like, AJ Styles. It could be against Seth Rollins. Or who he even said he doesn't even mind facing some NXT guys. Edge said this himself. Cena, who knows who he could face later on in the year, or even to next year's WrestleMania to see who he will face next year or whatever. At the end of the day, the example that you said, Ricardo, was kind of lost, and we gotta make up for what we have right now in terms of part-timers. That's it.
Exactly the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was WrestleMania 36, the entirety. Overall, like I said at the beginning, I preferred night one a lot more than this show last night. Matches weren't. There was a lot more to look forward to on last night's show with match 2, with some of the big matches there, but most of them really kind of disappointed for me. Not as much as the first night as it was here. There was a better flow with that show. I felt like there was a lot more to be disappointed with last night's show. Overall, it was a 50-50 effort in my opinion, total. If we talked about this last night already, but we'll just explain it here. If I were to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, WrestleMania on the whole, probably like a 6, I would say.
6.
Yeah.
And the best match out of all the WrestleMania as a whole from night 1 and night 2 is obviously the Boneyard match.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
Yep, I would agree. Boneyard was my favorite thing of both nights and for Mania this year. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out our thoughts on night 2 of WrestleMania. We'll be back. The plan right now is to stick with episode 14, doing that episode of the podcast this Saturday right here on YouTube before I push it out to the feed on Sunday. So you guys can listen to it on all the different podcast platforms where this show is available on. So until then, be well, stay safe, and take care, guys.
See you guys.
Peace.
Later.
Later.